San Ignacio town. With the 9 o'clock news, I am Patrick Jones. Tonight, there is a disturbing allegation being leveled at a high school teacher here in the Cayo district. Agriculture teacher Elito Radwell Cook is being accused of sending nude photographs of himself to several young boys, some of whom are students at Mopan Technical High School. The nude pictures started circulating on social media a week ago, and today the Board of Management took the hard decision to place Cook on administration leave immediately. He was called into the principal's office, where a letter suspending him from active duties as per the education rules as amended in 2012 was handed to him. Shortly thereafter, Cook was escorted off the school's compound by 2 police officers. So how did the situation reach this point? That is the question we put to the principal of Mopan Technical High School, Francisco Tun, this morning when we met him in his office.
I have received reports from students about those allegations that you're talking with respect to this teacher, specifically Mr. Elito Cook. And in fact, I have also seen this on Facebook accounts, different Facebook accounts. It first came to our attention of these nude pictures under the account of Mike Mendoza. Later, I noticed that it was also on the Belize sex offense registry. So, having seen that, and in fact, also having in my possession a transcript of a chat between Mr. Cook and a student of our school, I give credibility to the story of sexual offenses being committed.
Now that these allegations have been made and you admitted that you've seen the nude pictures of this teacher, what is Mopan Technical High School doing about that?
Indeed, he is going to be placed with immediate effect on administrative leave. We have to follow the process in accordance with the Handbook of Policies and Procedures and Education Amendment Rules 2012. He will be placed immediately on administrative leave, which is 20 days effective from today, 18th of February to 18th of March. In the meantime, the school will be conducting its investigation, and subsequently he is going to be charged and disciplinary proceedings will be initiated against him for his dismissal.
Who conducts this investigation while Mr. Cook is on administrative leave?
The investigation is conducted by the managing authority, the principal himself, the district education manager, who happens to be Mr. Carballo, and members of the board. And then if any teacher or student is aware or has in possession evidence, we will be accepting this as evidence against Mr. Cook.
The nude pictures, which I take it have already been collected by the school and by yourself, your office, and other evidence that might be available. How do you handle that? Or if people have things in their possession, who do they turn to turn over those evidence?
It's very sensitive information, but students themselves have come into my office to provide me with that information, and I keep that information in my computer to use as evidence against the said teacher.
Have you thought about calling in the police to carry out a simultaneous criminal investigation?
In fact, I have been liaising with the police in Benque. I have advised the police about it, although I have been told that they have not received any report or any accusation made by student or parent against that individual teacher.
Mhm.
So because of that, I don't know whether the police will be carrying out a criminal investigation. What the liaison officer told me is that a report would have to be made so that they can begin their investigation and carry out any criminal charges, no? If there is any offense or any crime that has been committed by the said teacher.
During the course of our interview with the principal, he confirmed that Pook had been spoken to by management on at least 2 other occasions, dating back to December of 2012, regarding allegations of inappropriate behavior involving students.
He has been called to my office a number of times. I have logged this information in my book. The chairman of the board and myself have spoken to him, and we have cautioned him before, and we have told him that if there is any evidence against him, we will proceed against him, and if the evidence is convincing, then he is going to be dismissed. We would recommend that he be dismissed and that his license be revoked as well.
I asked that question then because there are parents who can't understand why he still has a job here at this institution, interacting with some of the same boys that he is being accused of sexually harassing.
And I will tell you why he is still employed. Because there had not been any evidence against him. So yes, there had been accusations, but a teacher cannot be fired just because of accusation. When we write to the Teaching Service Commission recommending dismissal, they want supporting evidence, and if there is no evidence, then the teacher cannot be fired. But now we have evidence to proceed against Mr. Pook.
So immediately he is on administrative leave. Does that mean he'll be escorted out of his classroom and put outside the gate?
It means that as soon as this interview is over, I am going to call him into my office, and I myself will present him with a letter, and I will read the letter to him that he is going to be placed with immediate effect on administrative leave, and he cannot come back to school until that leave is over. However, if we charge him, then there is going to be disciplinary proceedings. The board will have to call him. There has to be due process. He will have to defend himself. And if he cannot justify his actions, and I believe that is going to be difficult, then the board will have to make recommendations for his dismissal.
Mr. Tun, what can you say to parents who are watching this news broadcast right now to assure them that their children, particularly their boys, are safe at Mopan Technical High School?
I would recommend to parents to speak to them so that their boys can disclose information, and if there is any report of inappropriate behavior, to report it to the school, or better yet, to report it to the police so that criminal actions can be taken against Mr. Pook. The reason that Mr. Pook is still employed is because so far no evidence had surfaced. But now that we have evidence, we are proceeding against Mr. Pook immediately. He cannot be allowed to remain at school.
What has been the reaction of members of staff to this very serious accusations being made against a member of their peers?
Well, we have not spoken about the matter. It is so sensitive. I did not have in my possession the transcript of the chat between Mr. Pook and one of our students. But now that I have that in possession, then I think that I have evidence to share with the staff and to tell them exactly how the school is going to proceed. So definitely, I will have a staff meeting with them to inform them about the latest that we know of Mr. Pook and how the school is proceeding to deal with this matter.
Do you have any idea how many boys have been sexually harassed by Mr. Pook?
I have no idea. It's several boys who have reported this matter, but because there had not been evidence, then I had not done anything. But now that I have the evidence, then definitely we are proceeding against him. So I am not in a position to say how many boys. I think it's a few boys, because they are the ones who have come to report of harassment.
The principal of Mopan Technical High School is appealing to parents of students attending the institution to talk with their children, and if they believe that their children have been subjected to inappropriate electronic correspondences from the accused teacher or any other teacher, they should make a report to the police so that it could be thoroughly investigated. The other major story in the news today is the discovery of the bodies of two men in a shallow grave in northern Ambergris-Key this morning. The victims, both men from the Corozal district, were found in an overgrown area 12 miles north of San Pedro town, about 150 feet from the beach. Police have not released any official information on the gruesome discovery as yet, but we have been told that the victims are Benjamin Molina and Selvin Chi. A missing persons report for the two men was made this morning. Police investigations continue. You're watching the 9 o'clock news. We'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll tell you how the police department is trying to forge a closer working relationship with the media. Stay tuned.
We bring in people together. Smart is bigger. We bigger and better. Yeah. 2015 is here. Smart will be doing things bigger this year. With the best promotions out there. Free up yourself with Smart. Start your year off right with Smart. Starting January 5th, you will receive an automatic double up on your first $20 upload and triple on the first $50 upload. Upload with prepaid cards, Gimme Dollar agents, Go Mobile, or at the Smart Lounge. Double and triple when you feel like. Free up yourself with Smart. 2015 is here. Smart will be doing things bigger this year. With the best promotions out there. Free up yourself with Smart. Start your year off right with Smart.
Precision handling. High performance braking. Smooth and comfortable ride. Tame the road. Hand-cooked tires.
My dad never misses a football match.
Me neither.
Are you enjoying this game or what?
I'm loving every minute of it.
I can't miss this game, but I can't see it either.
Here, now you can. The game's on me.
Now, wherever there's internet, you don't have to miss a single minute of TV. And the best part of My TV is it costs as little as $10 monthly for Central TV and Internet's customers. With 25 channels at your fingertips, you'll always be tuned in. My TV is available only at Central TV and Internet. Log on and discover a new world of mobile TV.
Hey, do you happen to have a beer?
We all have our bucket list and plan to start fulfilling them someday.
Anytime now. Don't worry, babe. You can do it.
Go, Mom! You can do this!
Why not turn someday into today with an easy credit personal loan? Atlantic Bank can make it happen. We offer loans at competitive interest rates with low monthly payments for all your financing needs. Because life should be easy.
How was it, Mom? It was good.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Somebody say, live the life. Live the life. Somebody say, live the life. Somebody say, live the life. Live the life. Live the life.
This afternoon around 1:32 p.m., according to police, 19-year-old Boyd Lopez of a Belize City address was driving on Baghdad Street in a Toyota Highlander when he lost control of his vehicle and knocked down a 70-year-old woman who had been identified as retired educator Marie Knowles. Marie Knowles was walking home to her residence on Water Lane in Belize City when the out-of-control minivan struck her as she was walking on the sidewalk. Boyd Lopez apparently lost control of the vehicle near Belizean Meat Pies store on Waters Lane and zigzagged from the right side of the street to the left side where Knowles was walking, approximately 15 feet away from where she was struck. After the minivan hit Knowles, it ended up back on the right side of the street where it slammed into a parked Mitsubishi Montero. Eyewitnesses say Knowles was severely injured as she was flung into the air and landed on her face on the pavement. An ambulance transported her to the KHMH, where at least one surgery was scheduled. Her condition is described as grave. Knowles received a huge gash to her hip and trauma to the head. One of the eyewitnesses told reporters it unfolded in the blink of an eye, and that another woman who was sitting on a green plastic chair narrowly escaped injury. The minivan had pushed the parked Montero several feet, and she had to clear out to avoid being hit. Lopez had borrowed the vehicle from an Asian man who later arrived on the scene and reportedly does not have a driver's license. One of Mrs. Knowles' sons, Cecil Knowles, told us that he was home on sick leave when he heard a commotion outside. Cecil Knowles lives next door to his parents. It was not until a neighbor alerted him that one of his family members had been struck by a vehicle and was lying in the street that he went to investigate. He told reporters that he rushed to the scene and saw his mother laboring to breathe. The scene quickly became volatile as relatives of the victim tried to interact with Lopez, who was assisting police officers, giving them his version of events. We understand that he was blaming the accident on faulty brakes. Lopez has been issued a notice of intended prosecution pending charges. Marie Knowles has an extensive teaching career that spans almost 40 years. Most of those years were spent at St. Mary's Primary School in Belize City. She spent the last 10 years of her career as a teacher at All Saints Primary School. She tutored and also assisted at the YMCA. This morning, the police department in Belize City hosted formation commanders and deputy formation commanders for a two-day training concerning improving communications with the media. At this morning's opening ceremony, Commissioner of Police Alan Wiley said that formation commanders and deputy commanders are free and invited to speak with reporters on critical issues related to crime in their respective district. Belize City's Eastern Division already has its own community and public relations unit to address such matters, and the Commissioner urged his men and women to freely cultivate a personal and professional relationship with the media, while reminding them that there are limits to what can be presented in order to protect the rights of victims and complainants.
And we have got to depend on them to cast us in a positive light. Whilst we understand that the media has its own role and functions and will not be distorting or should not be distorting the story, it is key that if we'll be able to sell our stories, that we be forthright with the media, that we be honest with the media, that we develop a personal relationship with the media, that we develop a professional relationship with the media. The media is out there to get the news. They'll be aggressive. Our job is to investigate crimes, but some of these crimes are also relevant to the news. And the reason for having this workshop and targeting the formation commanders and the deputy formation commanders is simply because the way we've been dealing with the media.
We asked the commissioner to comment on a revised media policy discussing these limits, which he told us is in the process of being reviewed.
I did inherit a media policy, and I put together a small group to review that media policy, because through the years there might be need to change some of the processes and the thought process involved. That committee has not yet presented the final draft back to me as yet. I hope that I could get that by the first quarter of this year, which will be end of March. And I know that that media policy would include on a quarterly basis, I believe, where the commissioner and his senior staff would meet with the media, perhaps a breakfast meeting or something of that nature, to hear any concerns or issues that the media may be experiencing in terms of the shifting policy that we're trying to do. Because we can only sell our success stories and the positive work we're doing through the use of the media.
Today's training session featured visits from well-known members of the media to assist officers in gaining the confidence and skills required in addressing the media. The proprietors of the television game show Make Me Rich have issued a statement officially denying infringement on the intellectual property of Curtis Swayze, who is suing them and Belize Telemedia Limited in the Supreme Court. MMR Belize Limited, in a statement issued on Tuesday, says that the claims made by Swayze and attorney Kareem Musa that they relied on Swayze's intellectual property and concepts as provided to BTL to create their show are, quote, completely false and baseless, end of quote. They claim not to have been served initially with a copy of the claim and had to secure its own copy on January 27th. Believing that the claim did not disclose reasonable grounds for a lawsuit, MMR filed acknowledgement of service and an application to strike out the claim, which took place before Justice Courtney Abell on February 9th. However, the company claims that the court granted MMR's application and additionally ordered Curtis Swayze to pay MMR Belize Limited $1,000 in legal fees. This differs sharply from the account given to the press on February 10th, where it was said that the case had been continued to March 10th for additional pleadings to be added. MMR says that Swayze's view of the events does not justify his accusations. According to MMR, mobile text lottery has been in existence for years globally, and no patent or trademark exists for any such platform. It adds that at no time during the development process was it aware that BTL was in contact with Swayze over a similar concept, and according to them, it does not matter since they utilized an already existent technology created by a California company known as Famcom Incorporated. We sought comment today from Musa, who repeated that the case was not struck out. Instead, the court adjourned the case to March 10th, as mentioned previously. He also stated that MMR has not been removed as a defendant in the case. BTL has issued a limited denial of the allegations, but has reserved its comment until the case is fully settled. Commissioner of Police Alan Wiley today confirmed to reporters in Belize City that the police department's investigation into alleged wrongdoings in the issuance of a Belize passport and Belizean nationality to Wong Hong Kim in 2013 has been completed. It comes at nearly 1 year since the commissioner was ordered by writ of mandamus from Chief Justice Kenneth Benjamin last March to continue and complete the investigation into the issuance of the passport and nationality to the South Korean national and accused fugitive who was seeking Belizean status to avoid extradition from Taiwan, where he was being held in prison. Former Minister of State for Immigration and Nationality Elvin Penner, reportedly assisted by others in the Immigration Department, facilitated the creation of the passport, now returned, and the granting of nationality. The commissioner did not disclose details of what may be in the file, but in speaking today, he explained what will be done with the file at this point.
The investigation had commenced. It has continued. The passport was retrieved. I think we're at the stage where the investigation is completed in terms of all the directive the Director of Public Prosecution had given to the police to do. As is the norm, that file will be sent back to the DPP if it has not been sent already.
Commissioner Wiley also commented on the private prosecution of Elvin Penner by executive members of Citizens Organized for Liberty through Action COLA, that those persons being Giovanni Brackett and Nedal McLaurin, which was halted in July after Magistrate Arita Ford declined to exercise her powers under the law to bring the commissioner to court during last year's hearing. That matter is now under appeal and comes back to court on February 27th, and the commissioner says he will act on the decision made in that case, including the possibility of a summons to court.
That is a private matter, as you said. The outcome will decide whatever takes place. I am a law officer. I will always obey the law and the court. And that has nothing to do with me, what is taking place. Whatever is decided will be complied. Okay.
Belize Media Group has received information that the St. Hilda's Anglican School of Georgeville has won the zone finals of the Coca-Cola Spelling Bee. That was held today, and according to information we have received, first place was won by Helen Adolphus, while Shamira Morales won second place. St. Hilda's Primary School of Georgeville will now proceed to the district finals. As soon as that date is announced, we'll let you know, and we'll bring you the results right here on the 9 o'clock news. After final written submissions on March 6th, Supreme Court Justice Michelle Arana is to consider the case of 6 former employees of Belize Water Services Limited, BWS, who say that they were terminated by the utility company 2 years ago in February of 2013 in response to alleged improper behavior in facilitating the circulation of a series of salacious and unproven allegations made against various employees that sunk the company into a morass of bitter infighting featuring threats against all levels of staff and board members, which were reported to the police. Concurrently, according to the testimony of top BWS executives, the company was deciding to implement redundancy as a cost-cutting measure after its rates were cut 7.2% by the Public Utilities Commission, and department heads recommended the claimants for redundancy despite fair to good marks in their most recent performance appraisals in March of 2012. Today, BWS's attorney, Julianne Ellis Bradley, successfully applied to recall one of the claimants, Charlotte Barnett, to testify about a pair of meetings held in early October of 2012, the first between members of the company's in-house workers' union, and the other a committee meeting to discuss the union's proposals on salary scale adjustments after workers rejected the company's proposals. Attorney for Barnett and 4 other claimants in the case, Teresa Pitts Anderson, commented on this morning's hearing.
On behalf of BWS to recall or witness one of the claimants in the case, and that application was heard and her leadership granted the application, and then we proceeded to examine and cross-examine that witness based on that application.
So that is essentially the end of the case, I understand.
That is essentially the end of the case, and the matter has been set for submission in March. And then thereafter the court will adjourn and make its decision on the matter.
Can you speak of what sort of new evidence was submitted?
There was not new evidence admitted. No new evidence was admitted. It was just a matter of some notation of minutes of the meeting. In our estimation, those were not new evidence.
Claimant Michael Novello says insult has been added to injury by the lengthy legal process, and he and his fellow employees that should be, hope that the end is truly near.
Go ahead. It's the sentiment of all of us that we think that BWS is grabbing at, I think that it is a genuine BWS grabbing at straws. It is very, to me, it is very strenuous that we have to be back and forth at this place, and they are taking the full extent of the legal road, and it is their right, but we think that it is far by and far too long at this time.
Is it frustrating?
I wouldn't say frustrating, I would say strenuous. It is very strenuous, and we are here for the long haul.
Senior counsel Saeed Musa represents the other claimant, Mark Menzies. The ex-employees are suing for outstanding benefits and termination packages. Exactly 1 year to the day, protests began in Venezuela against the government of President Nicolas Maduro, the successor to beloved late leader Hugo Chavez. The Venezuelan government reported the arrest of 7 persons in connection with a reported plan to overthrow the government. The coup d'etat was foiled, but to prevent another attempt, President Maduro's administration has made an attempt to reach out to its regional partners to intercede with the Venezuelan opposition and the government of the United States to stop their efforts at removing Maduro and help to restore peace and security to the nation. Belize's that should be Venezuela's ambassador to Belize, Joel Perez Marcano, hosted the press today to present its version of events and publicize their efforts at reconciliation.
En este momento, estamos convocando nuevamente a la oposición en Venezuela a un diálogo político abierto, sin condiciones, bajo la intermediación de la Comisión de la Unión de Naciones de Sudamérica, UNASUR,
under the control of UNASUR from South America,
integrada por los cancilleres
integrated by
de la República de Colombia,
by the people of the Republic of Colombia,
la República de Chile,
the Republic of Chile,
y la República de Ecuador.
And the Republic of Ecuador.
Y esperamos
and we await
que el sector de la oposición venezolana,
the opposition sector of Venezuela,
que insiste en las acciones
in these actions
de golpe de Estado
attempt,
y de violencia política,
these political violence,
cese en su conducta
should cease in their conduct
antidemocrática
anti-democracy
y contra la Constitución
and against the Constitution,
y acepte
and that they accept
iniciar un diálogo nacional,
a dialogue, an international dialogue
que permita solucionar
solutions,
los problemas políticos
the political solutions
que existen hoy en la realidad venezolana.
That exist in reality in this country of Venezuela.
The U.S. says Ambassador Marcano has declined mediation by the regional body UNASUR, headed by former President of Colombia. Venezuela is now reaching out to its Caribbean partners, including Belize, for assistance, believing that if the opposition wins, PetroCaribe will be under attack. Belize is among the countries which benefit from the PetroCaribe partnership with Venezuela, buying oil at lower rates of 40% of the original price, with the remainder delayed through a concessionary arrangement, which is used for social programs. The ambassador says those prices will not change as each country has signed a contract with Venezuela's oil producer PDVSA. However, in the case of premium manufactured petroleum, which is about to run out, the ambassador puts the blame on the U.S. no longer selling needed chemical additives to create this special brand. Members of staff of the Belize City Council are to receive leased property from a 50-acre parcel granted by the government to the City Council last year. But there are some hurdles to overcome, as explained by Belize City Mayor Darrell Bradley.
Our staff, and we have formed a committee which is made up of our technical personnel, including Ms. Charlene Rodon from our HR department, Mr. Troy Smith, who deals with our properties for the City Council, and then also our Director of Finance, to see how the parcels will be configured. The idea is that we would want to give people who would have been working for the City Council for at least a minimum of 2 years, so that it's a reward for their years of service. There are some practical difficulties that we were encountering, which is why it's kind of taking us so long. We're working with several surveyors in terms of surveying the land, and then the land is off the road quite considerably because it was a piece of property that was gifted to the city. We have actually spent no City Council resources in acquiring the property, so that we have to deal with certain issues and challenges that presents itself in terms of seeing how we will get electricity in the area and other things like that to benefit our staff. But the committee is working on all of those attendant issues. We were going to do the distribution by way of a lottery, so that no staff member can complain that anyone was favored in relation to the selection of their parcels, and this would be for staff who have worked with the council for over 2 years.
Initially, 180 of the council's staff, less senior managers and councillors, were to benefit from the grant, but it may be less because of the swelling of the council's ranks due to the BML workers acquisition. But the council is determined to go through with the project once issues such as markings for road reserves and access are settled and the property is developed. The council has previously offered bonuses to workers and worked with other municipalities to develop regulations concerning workers' service. The news on the national channel.
We bring in people together. Smart is bigger. We bigger and better. Yeah. 2015 is here. Smart will be doing things bigger this year. With the best promotions out there. Free up yourself with Smart. Start your year off right with Smart. Starting January 5th, you will receive an automatic double up on your first $20 upload and triple on the first $50 upload. Upload with prepaid cards, Gimme Dollar agents, Go Mobile, or at the Smart Lounge. Double and triple when you feel like. Free up yourself with Smart. 2015 is here. Smart will be doing things bigger this year. With the best promotions out there. Free up yourself with Smart. Start your year off right with Smart.
Precision handling. High performance braking. Smooth and comfortable ride. Tame the road. Hand-cooked tires.
My dad never misses a football match.
Me neither.
Are you enjoying this game or what?
I'm loving every minute of it.
I can't miss this game, but I can't see it either.
Here, now you can. The game's on me.
Now, wherever there's internet, you don't have to miss a single minute of TV. And the best part of my TV is it costs as little as $10 monthly for Central TV and Internet's customers. With 25 channels at your fingertips, you'll always be tuned in. My TV is available only at Central TV and Internet. Log on and discover a new world of mobile TV.
Hey, do you happen to have a beer?
We all have our bucket list and plan to start fulfilling them someday.
Anytime now. Don't worry, babe. You can do it.
Go, Mom! You can do this!
Why not turn someday into today with an easy credit personal loan? Atlantic Bank can make it happen. We offer loans at competitive interest rates with low monthly payments for all your financing needs, because life should be easy.
How was it, Mom? It was good.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Somebody say, live the life. Live the life. Somebody say, live the life. Somebody say, live the life. Live the life. Live the life.
To end the news, a reminder of the main points again. A teacher from the Mopan Technical High School was today placed on administration leave pending investigation of allegations that he sent nude pictures of himself to students. And the bodies of 2 men have been found in a shallow grave in northern Ambergris-Key. With the headlines, we end this edition of the 9 o'clock news. Our news lines remain open at all times, and you can visit our website for continuing coverage of the latest news from around the country. Thank you for joining us. I am Patrick Jones. Have a good night.